Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Seriously, just humor me.
All right, I'm with you.
Imagine you're walking onto this massive construction site. It's loud.
Okay.
The air is thick with dust. You hear drills whining, hammers banging, saws just ripping through wood. Everyone is moving. The energy is, well, it's frantic.
So it looks incredibly productive.
Incredibly. But then you flag down the foreman. You have to shout over the noise, "Hey, this is impressive. What are you building?"
Is it a hospital? School?
Right. What's the final product? And the foreman, he just wipes his forehead, shrugs, and yells back, "I have absolutely no idea. We just bought some really expensive drills."
That is a complete nightmare scenario.
Okay.
I mean, in the real world, the city would shut that site down in what, 10 minutes?
Instantly. It's dangerous, it's expensive, and it is a total waste. And yet, according to the deep dive we're unpacking today, that is precisely the state of the nonprofit sector right now when it comes to AI.
Yeah.
We're looking at AI Field Notes, edition 02 by Pamela Sterling. It's dated February 2026, so brand new.
And her central argument is that we have a surplus of tools, but a massive deficit of blueprints.
Sterling really, she just nails this specific anxiety I think a lot of leaders are feeling.
Oh, for sure. This immense pressure to just do AI.
Right. You see the headlines, your board members are asking.
Your donors are asking. But her whole point is that just doing isn't the same as building. We're confusing activity with actual progress.
And the data she uses to back this up is pretty stark. It really sets the stage for everything else.
It's this gap between activity and direction. So recent surveys she cites show that over 80% of nonprofits are actively exploring or using AI tools.
So they're on the construction site, they're drilling the holes.
Exactly. They've got the ChatGPT accounts, they're playing around with things.
Yeah.
But, and this is the key part, fewer than a quarter of them have a formal AI strategy.
So 80% are swinging hammers, but less than 25% have the architectural drawings.
Precisely. And so the mission for this deep dive is to figure out, how do we close that gap?
How do we move beyond just, hey, I used ChatGPT for a thank you note? Which is fine, but it's not changing the world.
It's low stakes.
Yeah.
We need to get into the structural stuff. How do you draft a blueprint for real measurable impact?
And we are not just talking theory. Later on, we're going to get into this case study from Kenya that, frankly, it was a little embarrassing for me to read.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
It just completely upended my whole assumption of what high-tech even means. It's about saving lives with, 1990s text messages and really advanced AI.
That story is the anchor for this whole thing. It just proves that the best strategy often involves the lowest tech interface you can imagine.
Okay, but before we get to Kenya, let's stick with this construction paradox. Sterling lays out this mental model, the house analogy. I usually roll my eyes at these things that can feel a bit simple, but this one, it actually clarified things for me.
It's effective because it separates three things that we always, lump together in tech. She says to build a house, you need three very distinct elements. First, the tools. Second, the building code. And third, the blueprint.
All right, let's break those down. The tools, that seems like the obvious part.
Right. That's the large language models, the chatbots, the data platforms. It's the stuff. It's where that 80% activity figure comes from. Everyone has tools.
Then you've got the building code.
That's your governance. So in a house, that's the rule that says don't wire the bathroom outlet into the shower.
A very good rule.
A very good rule. In AI, it's your privacy policy, your data disclosure rules, your internal guidelines. It's the safety layer.
And I feel like the sector has been pretty decent at this part. We've seen tons of webinars on AI safety.
We have. Most organizations, even small ones, they know not to paste donor credit card numbers into a public chatbot.
So we have the drills and we have the safety goggles.
What we're missing, the blueprint.
The strategy.
The strategy. It's the answer to the question, what does the house look like when it's done? And Sterling argues that without this, all your rules and all your tools just result in, well, nothing coherent.
She calls it a collection of useful little things that don't add up to anything.
That phrase just hits so hard. Useful little things.
I think we're all guilty of that. You optimize a workflow here, you generate a blog post there, it feels productive because you saved 20 minutes, so why isn't that enough?
Because it's just incremental.
Yeah.
You're making the existing treadmill go a tiny bit faster.
Yeah.
A blueprint implies you are building something new.
Or solving a problem that was impossible before.
Exactly. And this gets to the most challenging part of her argument, Drafting a blueprint isn't about, like, writing a 50-page policy document. She says it's an exercise in imagination.
Imagination can sound a little fluffy, especially to a pragmatic executive director who's trying to balance a budget.
It can, but listen to the core question she proposes for the strategy phase. What would we love to build if there were no constraints?
See, that feels almost irresponsible. No constraints. Nonprofits live and die by constraints. Budget, staff, time.
And that's exactly why the question is so necessary. If you start with your current constraints, we only have 3 staff. Your strategy will just be, how can 3 people do 4 people's work?
You're just trapped in the status quo.
You're trapped. But AI, specifically generative AI, it changes the physics of those constraints. It changes the cost of intelligence, the cost of production.
So if you don't remove the constraints in your head first, you can't see where the tech can actually take you.
You're just trying to fit a jet engine onto a horse cart. You have to imagine the destination first, then work backward to see if AI can solve the thing that made it impossible before.
Okay, so let's make this tangible. The notes mention a tool, Strategy for Good. It's an app, still in beta.
Yeah. Developed by Sterling. It's a whole 14-step framework, but she boils it down to 3 starting questions. And I think they're way better than any SWOT analysis. They just cut right to the chase.
Lay them on us.
Question 1, what would we love to create that we can't create right now? Question 2, what's getting in the way? And question 3, could AI help with that?
That second question, what's getting in the way? That seems like the pivot point.
It's the diagnostic. And usually the answer is something like, we can't analyze that much data, or we can't speak that many languages, or we can't be awake 204/7.
All human limitations.
They're human limitations. They are not AI limitations.
Let's try to apply this. Okay, say I run a legal aid clinic. My dream question 1 is to review every single eviction notice in the city.
Okay, an impossible dream.
Right. And what gets in the way, question 2, is there are 10,000 notices and I have 2 paralegals.
So in the pre-AI world, the strategy just stops there. You say, we can't do it.
But question 3, could AI help with that? It changes everything.
Right. An LLM can read 10,000 notices in, what, a few minutes? Flag the illegal ones, draft the responses. Suddenly that constraint is gone. The impossible blueprint becomes buildable.
That makes it click. You aren't just using AI to write emails faster. You are solving a specific structural barrier to your mission.
That's a strategy. You move from efficiency, doing the same thing faster, to effectiveness, doing the right thing you couldn't do before.
Now, there's this lingering assumption that this kind of work is a luxury for the big players, the Oxfams, the Red Crosses of the world.
The ones with huge IT departments.
Exactly, but Sterling's signals section suggests the complete opposite is happening.
This was one of the most surprising parts of the notes for me. She pulls data from Fast Forward and Candid. They analyze who is actually building custom AI solutions. Nearly half of them are tiny. We're talking under 10 staff members, less than $500,000 in revenue.
That seems so counterintuitive. Why are the small shops outpacing the giants?
It comes down to something Kevin Barenblatt from Fast Forward calls mission speed versus vendor speed.
Vendor speed already sounds painful. It sounds like paperwork.
It is. Think about a big organization. You have an idea. First, procurement. Then legal. Then IT security. Then the board has to sign off. By the time you get a green light, 6 months have passed, and the AI model is 2 generations old.
The risk aversion becomes a risk in itself.
Exactly. Now contrast that with mission speed. You're a team of 5. You see a crisis. You need to process intake forms in a new language, like today.
You don't call a committee meeting, you open a laptop.
Use low-code tools. You drag, you drop, you test, you deploy. It happens in an afternoon, not a fiscal quarter.
So the fact that you don't need to be a coder anymore actually favors the agile teams over the rich ones.
For the first time in a long time, yes. The advantage has shifted from who has the biggest budget to who has the fastest decision-making loop.
But the big players, the tech companies themselves, they're starting to realize they need to support the sector differently. There's a note here about a new partnership with Anthropic.
The makers of Claude?
Right, and Giving Tuesday. It seems like the industry is trying to address that blueprint gap we were talking about.
It's a shift from just charity to capacity building. In the old days, and I mean like 3 years ago, tech philanthropy was just, here's a free software license, good luck.
The drive-by donation.
Right. But this new model Anthropic, Giving Tuesday Bridgespan, is an integrated rollout ecosystem.
That is a world-class buzzword salad. Translate that for us.
It means they realize that giving someone a hammer doesn't make them a carpenter. So alongside the discounted access to the AI, they're providing open source connectors and, crucially, free training on AI fluency.
So they're helping write the building code and the blueprint at the same time they hand you the tools.
Exactly. It signals a maturity in the market. The bottleneck isn't software access anymore, it's institutional capability.
I want to pivot now to the story that brings all of this together. We've talked about blueprints, agility, strategy. What does it look like when it actually works? This takes us to Jacaranda Health in Kenya.
This case study is the gold standard. It perfectly illustrates starting with the blueprint, not the tool.
So set the scene for us. What was the core challenge?
Maternal mortality. The statistics in Kenya are just heartbreaking. But when Jacaranda looked closer at the data, they found something specific.
Okay.
Nearly a third of these deaths happened not because there wasn't a doctor available, but because women didn't seek help in time.
Wait, so the resources were there, but the patients just weren't getting to them fast enough.
Correct. It's a timing and a knowledge gap.
Uh,
Imagine a mother in a rural area feels a pain. Is it normal? Is it a complication? Her neighbor says, "Oh, I had that, you're fine." So she stays home.
and by the time it's obvious it's not fine.
It's too late.
So the problem isn't we need more hospitals. The problem is we need to identify danger signs earlier.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, if you took a typical Silicon Valley approach to this, what would you build?
An app, definitely a glossy telemedicine app, video calls with doctors, maybe a wearable.
Right, which would fail. Because your target user might not have a smartphone. They definitely don't have an unlimited data plan.
So Jacaranda went the other way. They went lo-fi.
They went with the one technology that 95% of Kenyan mothers already had. SMS, plain old text messaging.
But it's not just a notification system like remember your vitamins.
No. This is where the blueprint comes in. They built a system called Prompt TS. It uses highly advanced AI, but it hides all that complexity behind a simple text interface. A mother can text a question in Swahili describing how she feels.
And on the other end, is it a human or a bot?
It's a hybrid. An AI helps triage the messages. And this is the critical part, the Swahili part. They didn't just plug in a generic Western model and hope for the best.
They trained it on Kenyan realities. That phrase really stuck out. What does that mean for an algorithm?
It means context. If the AI is giving nutrition advice, it shouldn't recommend blueberries and salmon.
Things you can't get at the local market.
Exactly. It needs to recommend local staples. It needs to understand local slang. It needs to know where the clinics actually are. A generic model is medically accurate but practically useless without that context.
So how does it work in practice?
The mother texts, "I have a sharp pain here." The AI analyzes it in Swahili, recognizes a danger sign, flags it as a red alert, and immediately responds, "That is a danger sign. Go to this clinic now."
It closes that fatal time gap. It turns, I'm not sure, into go now.
And the scale is just massive.
Yeah.
This isn't some small pilot project. They are serving over 1 million new and expectant mothers.
That is incredible. And the source mentioned they had some help from Google.org.
They did. And this goes back to that mission speed idea. Google didn't just write a check. They sent a team of 7 technical fellows engineers, designers, to embed with Jacaranda in Nairobi for 6 months.
That feels like the missing link. The check is great, but the engineering hours are priceless.
They helped refine the model, deal with bias, and improve that triage accuracy. And the kicker is, Jacaranda is now open sourcing these models.
So they're not hoarding the tech.
No, they're giving the blueprint away so other countries can adapt it. They're saying, here's how you combine SMS and AI to save lives. Now go do it in your language.
This story really proves that blueprint-first argument. If Jacaranda had started with, let's use the coolest new AI tech, they never would have landed on SMS.
Never. SMS is ancient. But they started with the problem. Why do women delay care? They realized the constraint was knowledge access in a trusted format. The tool SMS powered by AI was just the best way to execute the blueprint.
It makes you wonder how many organizations are building apps right now that no one will use just because apps feel modern.
Probably a lot. And Sterling challenges us to find our own Swahili.
I loved that line. Your version of Swahili might not be a language at all.
It's a metaphor. Is the format the channel, the local knowledge that you're ignoring because it doesn't look like innovation?
Maybe your Swahili is a WhatsApp group, or voice notes for a community with low literacy, or a physical kiosk.
It's about asking, what is the barrier that feels invisible to us, but is a brick wall to the people we serve? And can AI dismantle that wall by helping us go to them, not forcing them to come to our fancy platform?
That's the difference between building a house and just making noise with a hammer.
Right. And the people we serve don't care what brand of drill you use. They just want the roof over their heads.
Sterling ends with this provocation that I think is a great place for us to land. She writes, "The organizations likely to thrive will be the ones that understand what they are trying to change about how they create impact."
It brings us right back to that imagination question. The tech is just a lever. You have to decide where to put it.
So here's our challenge to you listening. Put down the drill for a second. Step away from the noise. Stop worrying about which model is 1% faster or what plugin is trending, and ask yourself, if there were absolutely no constraints, no budget, no staff limits, no language barriers, what would you love to build?
Because once you see that picture clearly,
Yeah.
then, and only then, should you go pick up the hammer.
Thank you all for diving deep with us today. We'll link to the Strategy for Good app and the full Jacaranda Health story in the notes. It is absolutely worth a read for your whole team.
Highly recommended.
Until next time, keep asking the big questions.